could have not come at a better time. This gentleman has helped me in many of my past successful cases. Jabez Wilson, can you find the advertisement?
Yes, here it is.
To the Red-Headed League. On account of the bequest of the late Ezekiel Hawkins of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, USA, there is now another vacancy open which entitles a member of the League to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services. All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind and above on Monday at 11 o'clock to Duncan Ross at the office of the League 7, Pope's Fleet Street.
It's a little bit out of the ordinary.
Yeah, as you know, I own a small pawnbroker's business and one assistant, Vincent Spaulding. He works hard for a low price, but he's always down in the cellar working on his photography.
So it's just you and this Vincent boy?
Yes, and a 14-year-old girl, but she just does house chores. Vincent's the one who filmed the article. 14-year-old girl, but she just does house chores.
Oh, I wish I was a red-headed man.
Why is that?
Because there's an opening at the League of Redheads, but your hair must be the best shade of red to get the job. Have you heard of this league?
No, actually I have not.
Well, I'm sure you would be eligible.
What's the pay?
It's only a couple of $100 a year, but it's easy work. Shall we?
I will go and you'll come to help.
Come in.
This here is Mr. Jabez Wilson, and he is very qualified for your job opening.
I don't recall the last time I saw a color hair so exquisite. My name is Mr. Duncan Ross, and I'm one of the only people that can acquire the fund left by Mr. Hopkins. Mr. Wilson, are you married? Do you have a family?
No, I have not.
Oh dear. Although the fund was intended for a red-headed man and their maintenance, but in your case I think we can make an exception for that head of hair.
What are the hours for this job?
10 to 2, when will you be able to start?
Well, the problem is I have a business.
Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of that.
Well, since the pawnbroker's business is at night, I'd be best suited to work in the morning, as early as possible. What is the pay for this job?
£4 a week, and your work will be copying the dictionary. The one requirement is that you may not leave the office within the working hours, and if you do, you will lose the job. If you can, will you start tomorrow?
I will be there. After that, everything was going fine. Mr. Ross checked on me every day until he realized I was getting all my work done and not leaving the job. This went on for about 8 weeks until I came to the door one day and there was a sign on it.
What did the sign say?
The Red-Headed League has been dissolved, October 9th, 1890. So in my frenzy, I called the surrounding offices who said they knew nothing of Mr. Duncan Ross. They did, however, know of a redhead whose real name was William Morris.
Where did you go from there?
Well, I came straight to you because I heard you give advice to those in need.
In order to clear up this case, I have a few questions.
Go ahead.
How long had the boy been working with you before he found this advertisement?
About a month.
And how did you find each other?
Through an advertisement. I picked him over the others because not only was he handy, he was cheaper than most.
And he's been attending to your business?
Yeah, I have no complaints.
Well, thank you for this information. This is more than enough. I can give you an opinion in a few days.
Thank you.
Well, Watson, what do you think?
It's very mysterious.
Well, Watson,
Hello,
what do you
Mortimer.
think?
How are you?
It's very mysterious.
I'm okay.
You seem anxious. What's happening?
There's a considerable crime in contemplation, and I believe you'll be able to stop it. If you can, I'll be at Baker Street at 10. Your help would be greatly appreciated.
I'll try.
Watson, I believe you know Mr. Jones of Scotland Yard, and this here is Mr. Merriweather, who is to be our companion in tonight's events.
The man we're after, Mr. John Clay, is a remarkable young man with royalty in his blood. His grandfather was a duke, and he himself has been to Eton. We've met many times with him, but we've never actually laid eyes on him.
You aren't very vulnerable from down here.
I'm going to have to ask you to be quiet, Mr. Merriweather. The thieves are going to make their attempt in another hour or so.
What is the importance of the cellar anyways?
It has our French gold. There has been several warnings that an attempt might be made upon it.
The only other exit is at Wilson's house.
We're all ready. There's 2 officers guarding the front entrance.
I don't know how the bank can repay you.
There are a few insignificant funds that I expect the bank to repay me. Other than that, I am repaid by the experience itself. By no doubt, arranged by the color of his applicant's hair. The minute I heard of his assistant, the Spaulding boy, working for half wages, I knew there was something going on.
But how did you know what his motive was?
Well, I took into thought the boy's love for photography, and he was always disappearing into the cellar. From that, I could only think of running a tunnel to somewhere else. I recognized the man by his knees.
His knees?
I noticed how they were stained, wrinkled, and worn.
But how did you know that the boys were to make their attempt at night?
Well, when they closed the Redhead office, I knew they had finished the tunnel and no longer had to bother with Mr. Wilson.
You reasoned it out beautifully. It's a long chain, but every link runs true.
Will you just do it, please?
Word. I'm shining too.
And this here is Mr. Merriweather, who is to be our...
I'm gonna kill you!
Watson, I believe you know Mr. Jones of Scotland Yard. And this here is Mr. Merriweather, who is to be our companion in tonight's events.
You aren't very vulnerable.
We can do another place, come on.
No, guys, this is gonna work. This is
Ow. Okay, it's just while I'm walking down. Oh god.
Watson, I believe you know Mr. Jones of Scotland Yard. This here is Mr. Merriweather, who's...